Hey guys, this is going to be a tutorial for Slither by Velvet Revolver, and this one is in drop D tuning, which means the low E string is tuned down to D. So you want those two, your low E string and your D string, to be an octave apart. So you have a good power chord sound on the bass, and so this one has just kind of a few chords that it's based around in the, I guess, in the intro section and the chorus sections as well, which is basically just D, C add 9, and B/G. And then there's just some other notes that are thrown in to make it, you know, bluesy, or to kind of create riffs around those three chords. So it's a big part of the song, it's just those three chords. So it's very simple in that sense. Then there's obviously the main riff, which is really fun to play. It's more of a bass line, really. And that goes throughout a lot of the interlude sections, and even in the verse section, it's palm muted. And then the solo we have, it's quite a I guess, challenging and fast hammer-on pull-off kind of idea. These kinds of things. So there's some fun things happening in the arrangement. So let's get into it. So the very first opening part is pretty mellow and chill, and it sounds like this. This is really kind of a loose thing. Like, I'm just sort of, like I said, I'm basing it off of those three chords: D, C add 9, and B over G. And so this, I could probably play it many different ways, or, like, you know, it's something I could improvise with a little bit, and just, it's more about just the atmosphere of that slow strumming pattern over these three chords. So I have the D chord, which is just your index finger on the G string 2nd fret, and your ring finger on the B string 3rd fret. And then the high E string, I'm not really even muting it so much. Like, it can be open or it can be muted, whatever. You can just sort of avoid it with your right hand. And then I'm going to use the middle finger to hammer on to the D string 3rd fret. So after I hit the bass strings, it's not even just the bass, you could just hit the 1 string, or you could hit the bottom 3 strings like that, and then we go down up on the more treble part of the chords, the D, G, and B strings. Right, so we have 3 strokes there: down, down on the bass, down, up on the treble part of the strings, and then hammer on the middle finger from the open D string, hammering onto the 3rd fret of the D string. And then release it, and then I just play the D and G string together with the pick. Right? Like that. And then up, down, up on the treble part of the strings again. And then we're going to do another hammer on, this time on the A string 3rd fret, again with the middle finger, like that. And then once we do that hammer on, again we're hitting the D power chord part of the chord that we're already holding down, so the D and G strings. So all together we have, and then it's going to follow that chord pattern that I said: D, C add 9, and B/G, those 3 chords. So we're going to go to the C position now, which is just the middle finger on the A string 3rd fret. We can release the index finger off that G string so that it's open. And we're going to do the same idea as before, but now we're focusing on the C as the bass note. And now we're going to use the index finger to do that hammer on the D string. And then it's sort of the same thing, and then we have to release it the middle finger that's on the A string. We have to release it and hammer it back on to make it part of the riff. And then it's going to walk down to the B/G chord, which looks like that. So again, the ring finger is just staying on the B string 3rd fret. Index finger is going to the A string 2nd fret. And then we're going to do the same sort of idea again, now just focusing the riff with the the A string 2nd fret note, the B, with the middle finger now performing that hammer-on riff on the D string 3rd fret. Now the A string part of the riff is now using that note, 2nd fret A string, either as a hammer-on, or you can pick it like that the whole way through. You have that option to pick it or hammer on any of these little parts. Oops. And then we're going to use the low E string 3rd fret to finally bring us back to that low D bass note at the beginning of the measure to kind of complete the loop. And then when we finish off the riff, when we come back to that D, I switch the position of the chord with the index finger to use the middle finger, so that now my first finger is available to do this little little riff. So this is more of like a D minor kind of grip that I have here. So it's a hammer-on with the middle finger, 2nd fret. So it's like you're playing you do the kind of preliminary part with the strumming, and then 1 strum with the chord as is. Release the middle finger, hammer it back on, and then we're going to do a pull off on the high E string 1st fret really quickly from 1 to 0. That's with the index finger. Hit the B string with an upstroke. Put the 1st finger on the B string 1st fret, and now hammer on the ring finger to the 3rd fret. So that's quite a little challenging part. And then we have to, once that riff is done, I assume the previous grip of that D chord again with the index finger instead of the middle finger. And then we're going to do a variation of that part. So there's actually, as I break it down, there's a lot happening here in this intro that makes it more challenging. So for the more beginner or intermediate players, you could do something very simple where you're just it's more of just a strumming pattern. It's more about the atmosphere. That strumming pattern is just like a down, 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 up, 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 down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, 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 down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, up. Right? So that's it, bare bones, super simple. It still sounds good, and it's just very, chilled out, because we're gonna pick the song up and it's gonna get heavier in a second. But yeah, we don't need to make the intro so ornamental and challenging if we don't want to. So, but it's just cool to have some ideas and different things that we can do. So, as we get into the variation of this intro part, then I try to pick it up a notch a little bit. Sort of building into that next heavy section, and so I'm using more of a palm muted kind of thing, still using the same notes, so still using that D chord and the middle finger to play this F note here on the 3rd fret D string, palm muting for those heavy downstrokes. 1, 2, 3. Back to the D chord. And then again, that little riff on the A string. So 0, 3 on the A string, using the middle finger, to the back to the D chord. And then same thing, here's the C add 9 chord with that index finger to play the F note, 3rd fret on the D string, and then releasing. And then that you can do as a hammer-on, oops, or you can isolate them with the pick if you like. And then go into the B, the A string 2nd fret. For the B, this is a B/G chord. And using the middle finger again to play the F note on the D string 3rd fret. And again, do that either as a hammer-on or as a pick. To the low E string 3rd fret with the middle finger. And then the last part of the sequence, that D chord again, downstroke, release the index finger, upstroke, hammer the index finger, and then downstroke to a mute. So the main riff of the song is really fun to play. It's really pretty straightforward and not complex in theory. Maybe in execution, maybe it's a little bit more challenging. But this is very like kind of almost caveman style guitar playing. And so because we're in the drop D position, we can just to play our power chords now, we just need to hold down one finger on the bottom 3 strings, and we get a really nice thick sounding power chord, especially because when we drop D, it sounds really heavy and low. So that's what we start off with. We start off with just a slide up to the 12th fret or wherever, just up and down. And then we're going to get into this riff. So this is one that, I mean, you could do it with one finger. This is almost like a smoke on the water kind of riff where it's easy to understand and you're just moving up the positions of the fretboard. But it's quite a cool little bluesy sequence. So the fret positions are open, 3rd fret, 4th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, 10th, and then we kind of go back down in reverse almost. 6, 7, and then 5, 3, 4. And then we just have open notes in between. So it's like 0, 3, 4, 0, 6, 7, 0, 10, 0, 6, 7, 0, 5, 0, 3, 4. And then we have to flatten your first finger out, or whatever fingers you're using for the riff. So I use my middle finger for that, any side-by-side positions, it'll be like 1, 2. Same thing over here. When we go 6, 7, I'm going to use my first finger for 6, middle finger for 7. Then I'm going to use my pinky for the 10 position so that I can kind of keep in position over here. Got 6, 7. And then 3rd finger for the 5th fret. Back to 1st finger, middle finger at the 3, 4 at the 3rd fret, 4th fret. All downstrokes with the right hand. It's easy enough to do. You could do it with one finger if you like. So whichever finger you want. Pinky. Good job. Don't do it with your pinky. That's silly. Okay, and then to make the riff sound a little different, like in the recording, you hear times where he's playing it, oops. You hear those higher notes, so I don't really do that, but to kind of create that effect, I try to highlight this note a bit more on the D string. So to do that, I just thin the chord out a little bit and just play it as an octave. So now I'm using the index finger on the low E string, 3rd fret, middle finger on the D string, 3rd fret, A string's muted, and you have this sound. And now this is a shape that I'm going to move around. I don't change fingers from this. Same fret positions though. 3, 4, 6, 7, 10, 6, 7, 5, 3, 4. So I do that to kind of cap off the riff. Anytime it's going to change sections, like right before the section change, or like the last time I played the riff, yeah, just to highlight the higher sound of the riff, that element. So that takes care of the main riff, and this is gonna take us through the verse section. So in the verse section is the only different thing, like when the vocals come in, it's just palm muted. So just to dampen the sound, do it 3 times palm muted, and then I let go of the palm mute, and do the octave again. Back to the palm mute. So then the palm mute technique is just, you know, on the bridge. Don't be too close to the sound hole or too off of the bridge, otherwise you don't hear anything. And then obviously try not to be, if you're too light on the palm mute, you're not muting the strings enough, even though your hand is sort of in the right position, it's not even going to sound palm muted. So really important that you get that perfect kind of coverage where you still hear the tone, but it's just a bit muffled and muted. And then being comfortable to let go of the mute, so you get that more powerful, bright sound when you do the octave, or however you want to try that part. I even thought about doing, oops. That might be kind of cool. I didn't end up doing it that way, but that's another interesting idea if you wanted to try to highlight that variation more. It's just to do this like an octave, D string 3rd fret, B string 6th fret, and then just try to follow that position. Just focus on your index finger and follow the same 3, 4, 6, 7, 10, 6, 7, 5, 3, 4. So that gives you some options to make the main riff and the verse sections interesting, and so it's really important though to create that dynamic of the heavy sound, the muted sound, and then the highlighting of the higher note, however you're going to do that. And then when we get into the chorus section, this is very similar really to what we were doing in the intro. So it's those 3 chords, the D, D5. I guess we're just playing a D power chord here really, because we're not playing the major 3rd. So it's actually D5. And then we have, this is C add 9, I would say, because this is like the C is the bass note. And we're also hearing D's in there, D, G, another D there. So D would be the 9th of the chord. So C add 9. And this is kind of like a G chord. We have the structure of a G chord there, D, G, and B. But we're playing another D, D, G, D, but with the B bass note. So that's why the B as B for the bass note slash G, the structure of the chord. And then we use this note to the F, on the low E string, 3rd fret, as an accent note. On this D chord, might use that open E string. So this becomes like a D add 9 as well, because the E is the 9th of the D. So that's another note that you can kind of highlight here that doesn't sound too out of place in the chorus section when you're strumming. Same thing, you could add on the C add 9 if you wanted to. You could add the index finger to the 2nd fret, D string. It's not going to sound out of place. So either open on the D string, or 2nd fret on the D string, and then 2 hits on that low E string 3rd fret, which is the F, back to the D, and then 2 hits on the C, the A string 3rd fret, before coming back and starting it again. Same strumming pattern that I outlined when I simplified the intro section, so which is the down, 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 up, 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 down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, 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 down, up, down, up, down, down, up, 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 down, 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 up, 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 down, down, down. So that's where it changes when we turn around the measure, or the whole sequence. I kind of highlight those bass notes. So very chill and easy to play chorus section, and then usually it's going back to the main riff. And then really the next section to talk about would be, there's a short bridge which is similar to the chorus, similar to the intro, that precedes the solo section. It comes before the solo section. I can't even really remember how I did it. It's just, you're basically just going to play that bridge section like the chorus, like the intro. It's the same sort of vibe. And then that comes to a stop. The same way the intro came to a stop before the main riff came in, we're going to do the same thing. Right? And then going into the solo section. So yeah, not much I can say about that bridge section. We just want to bring the dynamic low, bring it kind of mellow and quiet, and to kind of create contrast for how energetic the solo is going to sound. So the solo section is definitely the most difficult section of the song, and so I arranged a fun little pull-off thing. So this is a little riff thing that I use a lot in different things. There's a bunch of solos that I use where I do this kind of thing. I really enjoy this kind of technique, or this motif, however you want to talk about it. There's different, like, it's great when you have open strings, like on the acoustic guitar. It's a really cool way to utilize the open strings and to play something flashy and virtuosic. So I'll do it there too, on the D string and G string, playing to the open D string or the high E. Open high E string is highlighted. So, but here, we're in the key of D, I'm going to do it so that it highlights the open D string. So it starts off with the A string hammer on, 3 to 5, and then, so that's the first finger to third finger, 3rd fret, 5th fret, and then pulling off on the D string, 3 to 0. Going to A string 5. So that's the first sort of sequence there, like that, right? And then you want, so once you have that pull off, it's I guess a triplet pattern, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. That would be the thing to work on. 3 5 or 3 0, pull off on the D string to 5, and then repeat over and over. All I do is I go to a different pull-off note. So now the 5th fret, 5 0, back to 5 on the A string, and then I alternate those. that I use is the pinky at the 6th fret D string, pull off to 0, back to 5. So the tricky thing here is to, when you're pulling off, not to hit extra strings like that. So when we pull off, we almost have to kind of sit on the string below, not fretting it, not pushing right down, but just kind of cushioning against it so that we don't fling off of all the strings, then we end up hitting them accidentally. So we want to kind of do that, cushion the pull off, so that you're gently, like after you've released off the string, you're gently kind of touching the strings underneath and then moving your finger away so that it's clean, because we're going to do a lot of pull-offs. It'd be really, easy to maybe make it a bit messy. And then with the picking hand, we want to be up stroking on the D string, down stroking on the A string. So that'd be the first thing, getting that technique. And then the concept is that I'm going to follow the bass line, so from D to C to B. So I'm going to try to do this kind of pull-off sequence with those 3 different bass notes. So now that we've discussed the technique a little bit for the solo, we can talk about the sequence. So to set up the sequence, it's the low E string open, hammering on the A string 3 to 5, and then this is the beginning of the technique that will follow through the sequence. So it's 3-0 pulling off on the D string to A string at the 5th fret, and that's our bass note, is that A string 5th fret, that's a D, so D is the bass note. So we do that one twice, 3, 3, and then 5, back to 3. All the pull-offs are on the D string, back to 5 on the D string, 6 with the pinky, 5, 3, and then the ending, which is D string pulling off 3 to 0, A string 3rd fret, open D string. So setting it up, pull off 3, 3, 5, 3, 5, 6, 5, 3, ending. And then the next part of the sequence, we go to the C bass note, so the A string 3rd fret, and then the middle finger is going to pull off at the 3rd fret position on the D string. So we do that one just once, so 3, 5, 3, 5, pinky stretches to 6, back to 5, 3, 5, and then a double pull off for the ending. So we do the 3 to 0 pull off twice to the A string 3rd fret, open D string. And then very similar on the next part of the sequence, so it's the A string 2nd fret, which is the B for the bass note, and then we're going to use the same finger setup, so still the middle finger pulling off at the 3rd fret. So that's 3, 5, and then 6, 5, 6 again, 5, 3, 5, and then again that double pull off. And then same ending. Double pull off on the 3rd fret, D string, A string 3rd fret, open D string. Right? So that's the whole first part of the solo in that sequence. So the second part of the solo starts out the same way with the same setup of the low E string open, A string hammers 3 to 5, D string pull off 3-0, A string 5, and then we do another pull off D string 3-0, and then we're going to move up to the A string 7. Now the 5th fret's going to pull off on the D string. Back to A string 5, D string 3rd fret, pull off, back to A string 7, D string 5, pull off, A string 8, now with the middle finger, D string 7, pull off, A string 10, D string 9, pull off, D string 7, G string 5, pull off, and then D string 10, G string 7, pull off, twice, D string 10, and then G string 7 to finish. That's the thing, is we're just moving. It should just feel like this. Once we can loop that, and then just try to move the ring finger, or the A string, whatever note is going to be on the A string, or whichever finger you're going to use for that, because it's the middle finger when we go up to the 8th and 10th fret positions. So it's just kind of feeling that looping, and then jumping it. So then you can go back and forth, and then to a narrow position like that with the middle finger. So now would be good to practice. So middle finger, ring finger, middle finger, ring finger. And in these two positions, so that's the 8, 7, or yeah, 8, 7, 10, and 9. And then we want to practice switching strings. So the 10, 9 to the 7, 5 on the D string, G string. So back and forth between those two. And then this one is weird because it's slightly stretched more, right? So D string 10, G string 7. It sounds really cool when you can move around between the positions more, and then it's just a matter of the triad determining whether they are this position, so that's really all it is. It's just these triads, and this one is just more of a pentatonic. It's not really a triad, it's like it's a 2 interval, or a second, the interval of a second, not the third. The rest of them are minor and major thirds. Minor third, major third, major third, minor third, and then the second. So I really like that kind of pull-off sequence. I use it in, yeah, like I said, in different songs and different things that I've done. And then the third part of the solo, we get into more of a chord sequence. It sounds like this. So here I'm using, for the first one, might slide into it, I can't remember, but it's the G string 14th fret with the middle finger, B string 13th fret with the index finger. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down. Something like that with the rhythm of the right hand. I add the pinky to the 15th fret, high E string. To the 10th fret, low E string, and D string with the first finger barring. G string 12 with the ring finger, B string 12 with the pinky. High E string is open. Don't ask me what the name of that chord is, I have no idea. And this one, that's really, really weird position. So I'm just kind of keeping the same chord, just taking the pinky away. Middle finger to the 10th fret, B string. Everything else is the same. Not comfortable at all. Middle finger goes to the low E string 9th fret. Ring finger goes to the G string 10th fret. Pinky goes to the B string 10th fret. A string is muted. D string is open, ringing. High E string is open. And then I keep the bass the same. ring finger goes to the G string 9th fret, index finger goes to the B string 8th fret. Again, D string and high E string are open. And then whichever fingers, you could use your first two fingers or just these ones and slide them down. At G string 7 with the G string 7, B string 6. Like I said, you could use your middle finger or your ring finger, whichever is better for you on that position. And that finishes the chord sequence. With this another kind of pull-off technique. Can't remember how the next part goes. That's it. So we finish with this another hammer-on pull-off technique. So it starts off the hammer on 5 to 6 on the B string with the first two fingers, and then pinky goes to the 8th fret high E string, pull off to the open note, back to the B string 6 with the middle finger, to the high E string 7 with the ring finger, it's going to pull off, back to B string 6 with the middle finger, high E string, pull off from 5 to 0. And then this is where we're going to move the B string note down to the 5th fret with the ring finger. And then the index finger pulls off the high E string 3 to 0. B string goes to the 3rd fret with the ring finger. Index finger goes to the 1st fret, high E string, pulling off 1 to 0. Where are we? And then this is this single note sequence going from B string 3, index finger at the 1st fret, B string, pull off to open, G string 2nd fret, open B string again, 1st fret B string, hammer to the 3rd fret B string, open high E string, and we finish with double stops. B string 3rd fret, high E string 1st fret, slide to 5th fret 3rd fret, back to 3rd fret 1st fret. And that finishes the solo sequence. So hopefully that was clear. Picking strokes, like downstroke on the B string, upstroke on the high E string. And then just alternate. Pretty much, and other than where you're doing a hammer on or pull off. And that's it. The ending of the song is a little different. We're just coming out of this main riff, which we do 3 times. And then where we would normally do that octave part, we still do the octaves, but we're going to do it in a different sequence. So it's open, 10, 12, 0, 9, 10, 0, 7, 0, 6, 7, 0, 5, 0, 3, 4, and then the final chord. So just getting used to where those open notes go. That's maybe the challenging part. 10, 12, 0, 9, 10, 0, 7, 0, 6, 7, 0, 5, 0, 3, 4, 0. So thank you so much for tuning in to this tutorial. Hopefully it was helpful and we learned a few things. And thank you so much for supporting me here on Patreon. Hope you're enjoying everything else that's here on the channel. Let me know if there's any questions about this one, if I missed anything, or if I can help you in any other way. with a quick comment. And yeah, I'll see you next time for another tutorial one of these days soon. Take it easy, guys. Keep practicing, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.